Hey everybody, I'm Mary Delgado and here's Bama with the Blockchain Herd. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Really appreciate you and thank you for your comments and suggestions. Today I have a special guest that I'm going to be speaking with. He's really passionate in the crypto space. He's passionate about, well, a lot of things. He's going to fill us in on what he does. And he has a really unique name and really unique branding, which I really appreciate. And we're going to explain all this stuff to you as well, why we have that back there. So anyway, welcome, Mr. CryptoStache.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Mary. Appreciate it. And I love the decorations. That's great.
Yeah, that's all for you. That's all for you. So tell me a little bit about yourself and why you have this awesome CryptoStache name.
So we'll go back to a time far, far away when before I had an actual mustache. Actually, I got into crypto in about 2013 was the first time I really decided I was going to purchase. It was the first time I read the Satoshi white paper. I had actually seen it kind of previous, but I didn't really. I was like, this seems like a scam. Like there's Litecoin too. It's stupid. And so I kind of passed it up, but 2013 it came back on my radar, and I actually purchased my first Bitcoin in the beginning of 2014, and then Mt. Gox happened, and there was just like a whole 2-year bear market, and I didn't really pay much of attention to it until the end of 2016 again, and I started doing a little bit more research, seeing where the industry was going, because it was something I was invested in a small amount, and I've always been in the tech industry, and so. I kind of got back into it in that point, and then a lot of people were asking me questions, because I was posting about it on social, and not a lot of my friends really knew, what Bitcoin was or anything about cryptocurrencies, and I was getting the same questions over and over again. So I decided I was going to start a blog, which I did the beginning of 2017, and it was just kind of a place where I just threw up the stuff I was doing, like here's what I'm kind of interested in, here's what I'm doing, and then I got more and more questions, more people reading my blog, and that kind of has snowballed now, and I'm kind of a full-fledged content creator, as it were. So I've been kind of helping educate people in the space since 2017. I do focus a lot on beginner content in the beginning here, but I've narrowed my focus here a little bit more in the last year and a half or 2 years in the NFT and gaming space. So I was actually the first content creator ever to have his own NFT created for him.
Oh, wow.
Nobody else had it before me, and so I actually collaborated with the engine team, and we released my first token, which is the Stash Loot token, which goes well with the theme we have here today.
All right,
And
love
so
that.
that's kind of how I got started, and that's where I am right now. Obviously the whole branding thing came about. Like I've had this sweet mustache for quite some time.
How long did that take to grow?
It doesn't take a long time to grow, but it's been here for quite some time now. Like around 2013 is when I actually grew it out. I grew it out for a beard and mustache contest at a festival that I was throwing. So I'm a music producer and musician for quite some time now, and I was producing this event called the Folk Revival Festival for about 5 years, and it was about a 5,000 person music festival in Long Beach, California. And the first year I was like, okay, we're going to have this great beard and mustache competition, but it was kind of a bootstrapped, budget that first year. So I'm like, I'm going to enter the competition. I'm going to grow out a mustache and I'll just get all our prizes back so we don't have to pay out. But lo and behold, the beard and mustache community is way larger and more
Huge.
intense than I anticipated. So I didn't even enter actually that year. I was a little bit intimidated and afraid, but the mustache kind of stuck from that. And then yeah, when I decided to create this blog, I was like, well, I need some sort of name, some sort of thing to go by. And so CryptoStache made sense, and the rest is history. Now, my friends, just call me Stash.
I love it. I love the branding, man, because everybody in the community, when you say, stash, it's you. So love the branding. So in 2013, when you did start, were there a lot of, YouTubers out there? Because your YouTube channel is extremely popular. So were there a lot of YouTube channels in the crypto space explaining a lot of the, because I find with blockchain and crypto, it gets a little when I first started, it gets a little confusing, I guess, if you will. So
Yeah.
were there a lot of bloggers that were out there, or a lot of videographers, I guess, that's how you say it?
No, there was nobody on YouTube, so nobody was learning about Bitcoin through videos. There was no content creators really doing any video around it. I learned most of what I was, when I started really learning through BitcoinTalk.org. So it was the forum to go to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and that's where a lot of the community really was at that time. And so that's where I was learning about it. And then my only buddy that I actually did know at that time who was interested in and knew about Bitcoin, I had talked to him a little bit about it as well. But yeah, Bitcoin Talk was like the place to go. So that's where I was learning and kind of interacting a little bit, and mostly lurking, but a little bit interacting and stuff. It was really not, there wasn't really much content wise on YouTube or video wise until 2017 really.
Yeah.
And so, there was a couple people that were around that time. Actually, one of my friends, Omar Bam, he was one of the very first to get on YouTube and really start doing crypto stuff. And I definitely watched his videos towards the end of 2017. I started a YouTube channel in 2017, but I didn't actually start putting out any content on it until like May or June of 2018. So it took me a couple of months really. I had started the channel on YouTube because I had done a video course that came from my in-person courses that I was doing here in Long Beach. I was actually doing in-person courses through most of 2017 and 2018 for people here locally who maybe weren't very good at learning online. And so I usually had about 20 or 25 people per class. And then I recorded one of those classes and I made it into a video course. And so that's what I had hosted on YouTube. So I didn't actually put like an actual video or like a kind of content focused video on YouTube until about, almost middle of 2018. So, and my channel is pretty small in comparison to most people on YouTube right now. I mean, I'm at about maybe like 5K subs almost. And, but there's, now the space has exploded. There's tons of content creators out there. Some of these people have hit, 150, 200K subscribers on their channel, and even that is like fairly small when in comparison to a lot of other industries that have large YouTube accounts. You look at some of these gaming accounts and they're in the millions of subscribers, and so we're still
Yeah, but they've been around. They've been around too for like a really long time. We're kind of, I guess, just getting started in this space, and like you said, this space really is exploding, which is really exciting. So we get more and more people that are doing searches for a lot of the things, the NFTs, learning about NFTs, and so that's really exciting. And your channel it's so informative. So it's interesting to me how it all came together for you. You weren't planning on doing a YouTube channel. You weren't planning on doing any of this, but as you did these videos, then it kind of fell in your lap, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't planning on doing any of these things. I wasn't like, okay, guys, guess what? I'm going to go be a content creator. I'm going to talk about cryptocurrency, that thing that nobody cares about. Yep. Like literally none of my friends, like I said, I was very much come from the music and entertainment industry. So like I've been a musician for the better part of my life. I've been producing music shows for over 15 years.
What type of music do you do? Are you a percussionist? What do you do?
So sing? Right now I play in a bluegrass band, and I play the bass and I sing. So we do like 3-part harmonies, and it's like a fun bluegrass thing. I played multiple styles over my career though, everything from punk rock to hip hop to surf to indie. And I had an Irish, the longest running band I had was an Irish, like drinking songs, pub style band. I had that band for about 6 years, and I actually was the lead singer and guitar player for that band. So I play multiple instruments, and I've been in quite a few different projects. So.
Nice. Okay. So let me put you on the spot. Sing me a little tune.
I'm not going to sing you a little tune because I could pull out my guitar and do that right now, but.
Oh, come on, man. This is good. Listen, this is perfect. This is perfect. Hear me out for 1 second. This is perfect because they're starting a lot of like music NFTs. So I think that we should do one right now. Do a music one. Just go grab your guitar and just just play something really fast.
You want me to play? Well, okay, I don't know how fast it's actually going to be though. So if you got a couple minutes, we could probably do this then.
I do. I totally do. I gotta
Okay, let me pull one up then here. I'll grab my guitar. You're lucky the guitar is literally just sitting right here next to me.
look. That's how things happen. Things happen how they're supposed to happen. So this was supposed to happen.
All right, well, you're gonna make me do it. I'm going to oblige here. I don't know how it's gonna come out sound wise because the guitar's right here, pretty close to the mic. Let me see. I'll move this way a little bit. Let's see. So this is a
Brought to
song.
you
This is a
by
song I play
Crypto.
currently with the band I'm in called Brother Pines,
Okay.
and yeah, bluegrass song. So this one's called Turn Tail and Run.
Okay. So how often do you play?
Well, normally we play pretty often, but you know, with the whole
Coronavirus.
pandemic thing, everything's been shut down, and we had a whole you know, calendar of shows. We usually play about once or twice a month.
Nice.
We had a whole calendar of shows through summer, and everything got canceled. So everything from March on.
So why don't you make some music NFTs? Some CryptoStache NFTs. I might have given you a little idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. I've had music on, you know, some crypto based sites and stuff like that. And, you know, as far as like doing the NFT thing, you know, the idea really was we were supposed to be recording a second album here this year, but like I said, that kind of got put on hold as
Yeah.
well. And you know, I would love to once we kind of got some of the more original stuff, like current stuff, done. But at the same time, like it's, you know, I would need to get like kind of permission from the whole band probably. And I mean, honestly, they probably wouldn't care. I just do it anyways. But
Yeah.
you know, right now with NFTs, it's been hard to kind of create a lot of new NFTs, in particular because of Ethereum and the fees that are so incredibly high for everything right now. You know, I create my own NFTs already, so I have a whole series of NFTs I've created. I have a founder's token that, you know, gives you airdrops of these NFTs. So I've been doing a lot of these things for quite some time.
Mhm.
But, you know, with the fees that they have been, you know, with Ethereum, so I can't do it. I can't airdrop these tokens. I can't really create anymore. It's like when it's going to, you know, cost me $50 to mint, you know, an NFT, it just doesn't make sense at this point. You know, it was something I really like doing, and it's not like I'm not selling them on sites as, you know, one of one rare CryptoStache NFTs. They're mostly just kind of fun things I do for the community, or some of them are used within games and stuff like that. But
So you're talking about the gas fees and stuff like that. So because there's other areas where you can do the NFTs, like you can go to Wax or Atomic Hub. What about going somewhere like that?
yeah, no, man, that's a, you know, great point there. And, you know, I've talked with the community about possibly just moving my whole NFT collection over to Wax and doing something where we lock the tokens that are in Engine right now. They're Engine-based ERC-1155 tokens,
Mhm.
and so they're Ethereum. And then, you know, you would get a one-of-one kind of airdrop for any tokens you had on the Wax blockchain. But I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. You know, I can definitely do it. It's just me getting to that point where it's something you can do effectively.
I saw that on Atomic Hub. I guess they're making it easier for you to be able to create an NFT. So that's why I was asking that, where they make it easier and then you don't have to worry about the gas fees.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the best platforms to be able to create NFTs on your own on Wax, and so it's not that it's necessarily hard to do the Wax creation of the actual NFT,
Yep.
but doing the transfer and being able to make sure that my whole community of all these people that already own this, you know, in particular my founders token, you know, I have almost 60 people who own that token, and
Mm.
so I would need to work out a system to then get them this new token, airdrop it, and make sure everyone knows
Right.
and then start doing things there. So there's a lot of things kind of tied into it in the back end. So the actual creation of the NFTs is super simple and straightforward on Wax, but it's all the other crap, you know, that
Yep.
I have to do. But definitely that's something that I'm looking forward to doing here fairly soon, because I don't think we're going to see an end to these incredibly high gas fees very soon.
I know. I know. Unfortunately, it seems like they're they're going up and up. So we're talking about NFTs. I noticed that on my Twitter feed, I see a lot of mentioning about NFTs and DeFi together. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a great use case, you know, when you talk about real utility that DeFi brings and why someone will want to get involved. I think a lot of these DeFi projects are very much like a kind of like, get in early, squeeze the juice as much as you can, and then move on. And or they're providing a liquidity pool for another token that provides a liquidity pool for mining of another token. And it's this very cyclic thing. And then you see a bunch of projects that are kind of copycatting popular ideas, and then they end up essentially scamming or exit scamming or rug pulling on people. And, in general, I think that going the more NFT route, it makes a lot of sense. So, meme obviously was one of the ones that people have now seen. And that's the one that's like, oh, DeFi plus NFTs. And, I think that the idea is novel for sure. But at the same time, it's not, there's not a whole system that they're building out there. It did kind of start off as a novelty. And I'm sure at this point, because of the price rise, they'll want to continue doing it. So I do like the applications there. I think there could be a lot more. We're just seeing kind of some proofs of concepts when it comes to those two things together. And I think we'll see a lot more projects, adding these DeFi aspects to, their NFT established project or creating brand new ones. I know Wax is getting ready to launch some new tokenomics that include DeFi for their tokens here too. So yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of potential there. I think that we're just kind of scratching the surface right now.
Yeah. Now, one thing I found interesting is that what you said was that you were the very first NFT gaming engine. Is that what you said?
I was the first content creator to have an NFT created.
Oh,
So
wow.
this was in 2017, and this was just around the time that CryptoKitties were kind of launching and stuff like that. And so, or I'm sorry, the middle of 2018. I have to go look at the exact date. It was into 2017 or beginning of 2018. But I worked with the Engine team. So Engine is its own project and coin and ecosystem. And up until then, most NFTs were just created for games or for specific purposes. There weren't really any avenues for people to be able to create NFTs outside of those types of things. And so, I worked with the Engine team and we created NFT and we airdropped it to like 5,000 people. And it was a lot of fun. And so I've done a bunch and collaborated with them on other things since then too. So.
Yeah. Now, you also talked about your community. I think you said you have like 60 people that are within your community that have or 60 people that have the keys, the founders keys. Is that right? What you
Yeah,
said?
so my community of stashers. So that's what I call
Yeah.
my community or stashers. And I mean, my community is fairly large. So I have about 2,000 plus people on my newsletter that I send out weekly. And just in my Telegram, I have about 350 people, 360 people there. And
Wow.
yeah, out of all of those people, about 60 people hold my CryptoStache founders token, which is an NFT that I created last year. And holding it gives you monthly benefits essentially. So any NFTs I create, you get airdrop those for free. And then you also get some benefits like discounts on things or a little bit of what I call crypto rains each month. But
Mhm.
like I said, I've kind of had to put those things on hold because last time I tried to do an airdrop to all the 60 people, it was like $120 to
Oh,
send out
man.
this token that doesn't have any actual value. It's not like, it's not like you could go sell. I mean, you could try and go sell it somewhere, but I mean, there's no real, established value to it besides the engine that actually backs it.
Right.
So, so it's been a problem. So I've kind of had to put those things on hold here.
Is your future for this creation for you to turn it into an actual game?
No, not really. I mean, it's really just kind of follows some of the stuff that I do within, the whole blockchain NFT gaming space. Like the most recent one I created is called the Agent's Disguise Kit. And it was the promotional NFT that I created to help celebrate the launch of my Twitch channel, where I
Mhm.
do blockchain gaming streams once a week on Thursdays. So every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, I do a different blockchain game. And it's more of like it's not just game streaming. So it's like a show. So I'm like a
Mhm.
secret agent. I dress in different costumes and disguises. And I play different games and give away prizes and things like that. So
Wow, that sounds. And you just started that? You just started that on Twitch? Right. Okay. And so you're like you seem to be like in a lot of different areas. So you're on Twitch, on Twitter, YouTube, obviously with your channel.
I'm on all the sites. I'm on all the sites.
You have to be. You have to be. So let's talk about your YouTube channel, and it's very informative. You have a lot of interesting people that are in there, and I'm going to talk about one specifically because I have an interview coming up with him. But let's talk about your YouTube channel and just what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to get as much information as you can out there to explain crypto and the community. So let's talk about that channel.
Yeah, so my YouTube is very focused on NFTs and blockchain gaming. So a lot of the articles, I mean a lot of the videos I'm putting out, revolve around that. So I'm involved in quite a few projects. Like one of my latest ones, I just did an interview with Sebastian, who is the COO of the Sandbox game. I've done, highlights on Atari and obviously on Engine, and then, other NFT platforms. So I just did a review on an NFT platform called Grow Your Base, where you can earn NFTs instead of buying them. And then I also repost all of my gaming streams from Twitch there as well. So if you miss it live, you can always go view all those there and kind of see what are the latest blockchain games, how they work, all those cool things. So like I said, I've really kind of focused more on that. And I still do videos that, revolve around things that aren't NFT or blockchain based, but maybe just not as often as I used to before. I don't do this full time. So I just do it as kind of a hobby, something that I enjoy doing, even though it does take a decent amount of time these days. But yeah, mostly I focus on my business and my day-to-day stuff is really focused on that. So
Yeah,
I try and get as much content as I can.
it's interesting because me too. I don't do this full time either. I have a real estate business, and it seems like it's just been getting busier and busier in the crypto space. That this is kind of like morphing into like this big giant of a thing. Like it's taking a lot of our time, right? But we enjoy it. We're passionate about it, right? So so it's pretty interesting. I already know that you're a musician. You love doing that. You have the band. What else do you do? What is your full time job, if you will?
So I run a web development company called Long Beach Web Design. I've been doing that for over a decade now. I started it just after 2008 when we had the gigantic financial crash and a lot of people were out of work. I got laid off. I have a degree in architecture, so I worked in architecture for about the decade before that. And 2008 hit, and it was just a really hard time. And so I had to kind of pivot at that time. There wasn't any work, and even though I was very highly skilled and I worked for a pretty high-end design firm before all that went down, so I had to kind of change and shift and try and find out what else I could try and do. And I'm a self-taught coder and designer. I started doing websites and learning code HTML when I was 16, and so
Wow.
I just kind of have always done it as a hobby. And so I was at this point where I was like, well, architecture is what I put all of my time, my degree, all, everything, all my schooling into, but I can't get a job in that right now. So I started doing freelance jobs, doing websites and doing design work. And then it just kind of kept going and kept going. I got more and more referrals. And so, yeah, now we're celebrating over, a decade here with Long Beach Web Design. And I manage about 75 clients locally, and we've built hundreds of
Wow.
websites in general. So I've done, I don't know, probably 300, 400, 500 websites over the last 10 years. And so now what I'm really trying to do with that is I'm trying to bridge the gap here. So this is my ultimate plan. I'm trying to bridge the gap between what I'm doing in web development, which we focus a lot on e-commerce and stuff too, and kind of bring in some blockchain based projects. And kind of merge the two things that I'm kind of working on.
So yeah, I was just gonna ask you that how do you find that your full time job kind of merges with this blockchain YouTube space where you're teaching others about crypto? How you find that? I would assume that helps out with what you're doing with your YouTube channel and with Twitch and all these other sites that you're on.
I mean, it helps out a little bit, obviously, because I'm able to do, a lot of design and coding and website type of stuff myself. But what I'm really trying to do is, get my company to start doing more blockchain-based development and work. So right now, I actually have two blockchain projects that I'm working on. One is called Fairpick, and Fairpick is actually right now in closed beta. So it's been up for a couple of months now. And we have a small amount of people, I don't know, maybe like 75 or 100 people that are testing it right now for us in closed beta. But what
Nice.
it is it's a social media contest picker that is that uses blockchain for transparency and for verifiability of a winner for your giveaway. So if you're in the cryptocurrency space or other ones, you always see people like, hey, giveaway, just retweet and like and follow this person, and I'll give away so and so at this time. And so what Fairpick does is it allows you to quickly do that to pick a winner using our blockchain based random number generator. And so all that can be verified, you can see it all right there, and you know for sure this person fairly picked the winner for their contest.
So that's pretty interesting because I use like this wheel, this thing that like you put the names in and then you spin the wheel and it picks the person and stuff like that. And so that's pretty interesting that you're creating that. I like that.
Yeah. So I saw that there was kind of a need there. There are a couple of sites you can go to pick Twitter contests, and some of them work really well, some of them don't work really well, some of them are very, very expensive. So
Yes.
what we're doing here is providing a blockchain based platform, so people know for sure that we can't modify it. Other people or other companies who have services that are similar. They have a centralized database where all that information is kept, and if they really wanted to go and fidget with something or mess around with the code or whatever, they could easily do that. But we're actually an open source platform, and everything can be verified on the WAXP blockchain, the results of every draw. So I think there's a pretty big benefit there, so people know for sure that things are being fair and transparent. And it just kind of comes down to the fact that I think that we can actually also win out when it comes to pricing as well for our product. So
When do you think that's going to come out of beta?
so hoping to have it out of beta by the end of this year. So hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have it all tested, ready to go. Right now, we're working on some new features that have been highly requested, which the top of the list is actually a Twitter-based bot. So instead of having to even go to the website, you'll just be able to call the bot from Twitter to start your contest and put all the details in right there, and you don't even have to go to the website. So it's just like super easy, and nobody has that. So that's definitely something we're trying to finish up, and once that's ready and tested and stuff like that, then we're going to launch. So looking to have it the end of this year.
Very innovative. Now, did you find it difficult to explain this to your company so they can understand how important blockchain is and where we're going? Because as I see it, I mean, the future is blockchain for sure. It's just going in that direction.
Yeah. Well, it's not difficult because it's my company, so
Oh, okay.
so I don't really have to I just say, okay, guys, this is what we're working on here. I have a team of developers and designers and
Yes.
other people I work with. So when it comes down to what we're going to be working on and doing, I'm pretty much the buck stops there with me. So
Right.
yeah, because I'm interested in what we're doing, and I do truly believe too that blockchain development is a really good skill. So a lot of the coders that we work with, maybe it's their first time getting into it, or they don't have that much experience, and so this gives them an opportunity to also pad that resume too. So I think all around it makes a lot of sense, at least to me. So, and everyone, at the company seems to be on board at this point. No one's like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with blockchain. I haven't heard any of that. So.
Right. So there's so much happening in this space. I mean, smart contracts, all these different things. I mean, it's even you're going to be able to buy a house. You could close title, do title searches with it. It's just amazing the direction that it's going, and all the new projects that are out there. I just get amazed. There's so many that I have to follow and learn about. One of those, and you mentioned it earlier, was you did an interview with Sebastian with Sandbox, which I find that so interesting. He has a lot of great backing. Give me your thoughts on Sandbox and what you think about that. It's an interesting project.
Yeah, I think Sandbox is great. I'm actually a Sandbox ambassador, so I've been, promoting the project and been there since I got in on the second pre-sale, so it's been quite a few months now. They're on pre-sale 4, they're on they just completed pre-sale 4, so we're getting ready for pre-sale, the last pre-sale before they actually do a soft launch here at the end of the year. And, there are other virtual land games out there, which I think are all great. Decentraland's really good. I kind of missed the boat early on Decentraland to get some land there. Now things are a little bit expensive. But there's some other great ones, CryptoVoxel, Somnium Space, and Axie is getting ready. Axie Infinity is getting ready to launch some land. So is Nestables. So it's definitely a popular thing out there. The reason why I've really put a lot of my time into the Sandbox is because of the experience the team has, the backing that they have, and as far as the companies they're working with. As you know, Animoca Brands is the kind of the parent company, and
Right.
so they're working with a lot of massive IPs. So things like Atari, Square Enix, Shaun the Sheep, and then recently Care Bears that they've just come out. And that's just the kind of the beginning here. Like there's going to be so many different IPs that are in this game. And so, yeah, I mean, I've got multiple lands within the Sandbox already. And, I'm just, like I said, I'm really bullish on the project. It is because it kind of has this cross between Minecraft and Roblox, if you know those two projects.
I know Minecraft.
Minecraft. Yeah, Minecraft is kind of has that voxel blocky look, but Sandbox has kind of updated that a little bit, so it's very stylistic in that kind of way. But it works a little bit more like Roblox, where you have these individual games that people are creating, and you can kind of experience multiple games within the universe, and they're a little bit more interconnected. And so I think it kind of brings the best of both of those things together in a cryptocurrency based a virtual land kind of game where you could monetize it in multiple different ways. So not only could you buy and sell land if you want to, but you could build experiences on there and charge sand for people to play them, or you could even just rent out your land to other people that want to build on it.
It's like a gamer's dream, it sounds like.
What's that?
Sounds like a gamer's dream to me.
I mean, it definitely, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a really cool thing. It's not obviously going to attract every gamer out there, but there's millions of people just between Minecraft and Roblox that are playing those style of games, and so in particular, a younger generation too. So these people that play these games, they're already very familiar with digital assets and online transactions and in-game currencies. So, I think it makes a lot of sense going that direction, and Sandbox is really situated themselves well for that, the future of that.
So, as a girl, obviously I'm a girl, but as a girl in this space, there aren't a lot of women that are in this space. And then certainly there aren't a lot of women either that are gamers also. So I find that I'm becoming more like a gamer person and really getting into this space. How can we get more women to get into this space?
Yeah, I mean, I think traditionally that would kind of be the case, that people think, oh, well, women aren't gamers. But honestly, that's already really shifting out of that kind of old paradigm. If you go look at Twitch, I mean, there's tons of female gamers on there, and some of the most popular gamers as well. So I mean, when you talk about ratio of boys to girls, like how many are out there, like, I mean, I'm sure that it's probably still more male dominated for sure, but there's definitely a lot of very popular female gamers out there who are making the name for themselves on YouTube and on Twitch and some of these other platforms where people follow them. So I think it comes down to making games that everybody's interested in, promoting things that whatever your interests are, there's something for you to do there, or there's some way for you to monetize that time too. And that's kind of what I love about blockchain, is that, not only are you just having fun and enjoying playing games with your friends, but you could also monetize that time or that experience that you're putting into it, being able to own the actual assets that you found while you were gaming or hanging out with your friends, and sell them in a marketplace.
So in the Sandbox, can you pretty much build what your passion is around, your piece of land that you purchased, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. It just comes down to how much time you put into building and learning, the interface to be able to create things. But they've actually done a really good job with the software, and I think that it really just comes down to interests. Really, I mean, getting more females involved into the space just comes down to them wanting to be interested in these things. And, I think a lot of times the way that projects are promoted and, cryptocurrency and, associated blockchain stuff is promoted, it's not necessarily promoted directly to women in a kind of way. But I do try and make my content as approachable as possible. So it's not something where I'm just like, hey, bro, yeah, dude, it's not like necessarily just very male dominated kind of content. So getting women involved, I think really just kind of takes letting the people in your life, the women in your life, know about these things, and finding what can interest them. What is their interest? What are they already interested in? Now, how can you then tie crypto or blockchain to that and say, oh, well, if you really love this one thing, then look, cryptocurrency makes this better. That's why you should check it out. And that's really for anybody. But I think that we've just done, people have done not as good of a job maybe finding ways to be able to tie crypto to things that women have interest in.
I find that in your channel that you do a really good job of being inclusive. Where you're not only, like you said, you're not only speaking to males out there, but you're speaking to a broader audience. So I think you do a really good job with that.
Yeah, I think it's important. I try and make my content, straightforward, easy to understand. I try and explain things well. A lot of times people, when they're learning, they feel like, oh, I don't want to ask stupid questions, or maybe if I ask a question in this chat, people are going to make fun of me, and that happens a lot in cryptocurrency, actually. So I always try and make sure that people know. Yeah, I try and make sure people know, like, in particular in my like Telegram community. If you want to come ask questions as a beginner, like, you're never going to be ridiculed. No one's going to make fun of you. There's no stupid questions. Come in, please learn, ask questions. I'm there almost all the time. I'm available. And I love being able to help people truly learn more about cryptocurrency, and then finding what that thing that could interest them even more in the space might be. So that I think is a pretty big goal of mine in general, is looking at the individual, finding out what they're interested in, and then showing them, well, how does cryptocurrency fit in there? What about crypto makes that better or more interesting to you, where you might want to then look at that thing that's crypto based versus what you've been doing previously.
Right, and I've found that with a community, they have been like, they just put their arms around me, and there isn't a question that is stupid, because when you're first starting out like me, you do feel just stupid. I feel stupid sometimes, and I feel like some of the questions that I might ask is stupid, but it's not, because you'll get like 10 different answers from 10 different people, and they're just very, very supportive, and you're one of those guys that are out there just answering any question. And then also, if you need some like a logo or whatever made, hey, I'll help you out. I'll do whatever you need. I'll code something for you. So I find that the community is so amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm still here doing this, is because I do really love the community aspect of cryptocurrency. As much as I've made a good amount of money. I'm not like a day trader or anything. I do trade, but in general, I'm more of an investor, as it were. I think really the most important thing, and that I've actually gained out of this, is finding some people who are so much alike as I am, and they have the same interests and the same kind of thought processes. I haven't really found that in any other industry, like even in music. Obviously I share a lot of interest with people in music and get along with them, but in cryptocurrency, the people that I've met and the communities that I'm a part of, I mean, it's like, these are the people that I've been looking for. This is my crew, and so I've met so many amazing people who are great friends, and we talk all the time, and cryptocurrency allowed that to happen. And so that's what I love about it. Going to conferences, meeting people. I mean, the community aspect of it to me is a major aspect. And so that's why when I do things, I'm always trying to create more community, getting people together, keeping kindness in mind when we are doing those things. And I think that's a really important aspect of crypto that can't be overlooked, really.
We need a lot more of that these days, but it is nice when no one really, everybody is trying to uplift you. Everyone is trying to make you better, to help you grow, and that's really nice. So as you said, you do make really good friends out there that want you to be successful, and that's such a positive thing. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
what is the biggest thing that you've learned in coming into crypto?
The biggest thing I've learned coming into crypto. That's a really hard question. I would really say in general, the biggest thing that crypto has taught me is about our current financial situation and the system how it works. Really before I got into crypto, before 2013 or so, I was not like a financially focused person. I didn't trade stocks. I didn't have, a bunch of investments or assets. I wasn't, focused on the financial aspects and higher financial aspects and learning of that. I didn't know how the Fed worked. I didn't really know, exactly about, how inflation and how those things affect, value of stuff. I didn't understand how, other things that have happened within the financial system, how that really does affect you and how, bonds works, all these different things that they don't really teach you that much about in school. And so really finding out the truth of a lot of these things, why, how taxes are worked too and how, they change things and just that general wake up call, I think understanding a lot of those systems that are not necessarily taught in schools. I think that was the biggest thing that I've really learned. And that makes me more bullish on crypto, to be perfectly honest, because, I understand just how much, censorship and, immutability of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, how that can actually impact the future here when there's so many people who are just being screwed over by the U.S. government in multiple different ways because of the power that they wield over the financial system.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you. You look at the value of the dollar and how it's really going down. You look at also the banking system. How I've been doing a lot of research into Celsius, but just the banking system and all the fees that they charge. And you put your money into a bank, right? And they want to charge you for having your money in the bank instead of giving you money for having your money in the bank, and they're utilizing your money, so you should be paid on that money. So it's pretty interesting because all of these different fees that they charge you, like if an overdraft fee or for having a minimum balance and all these different things, those are the little guys that are getting charged. And then who's getting benefit from all those fees that the banks are charging? Well, it's the people, the investors, the stockholders of all of these banks. And that to me is sad. So I think with the crypto space and a lot of these different projects like the Celsius, who really cares about the people and are trying to make it financially beneficial for everybody, not for just a few, is huge. And that can only happen in the crypto world.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. There's definitely varying degrees of how effective crypto can be for people. I think here in the United States, the idea of like banking the unbanked is great, but most people in the United States do have accessibility to banking. Not everybody, but a good majority. Even though we are getting screwed by the banks, like you said, kind of fractionally reserving our money, we don't really get much back. Crypto, what crypto can really do for people here is help them to build wealth over time. Great programs that even though maybe they are third party and centralized, do give you much better interest rates on holding your money with them. But then when you look at different nations, there's different benefits there. So nations that maybe are very low unbanked ratio, where they need to, they need something, and having a cryptocurrency based, system that they can utilize, even just from something as simple as an old cell phone, makes a lot of sense. And so I think that's one of the things I really do love about crypto is it can be multiple things to multiple different people, depending on what your, life and financial situation is like. But in general, it does give you more power over your financial status and your money and how it's being used, and and how it's not being devalued, through inflation.
Right. Yeah. So there's so many things that you can create through this, and the financial freedom is huge because that's on the top of the list of everyone. What they worry about is their financial future, right? So it's exciting to see that a lot of these projects are creating that for people. To have that financial freedom, it's pretty exciting. What are you most excited about? What are you most excited about in the crypto world?
Well, like we talked about before, I'm most excited really about the NFT and gaming space. I think when you talk about, well, what's going to take crypto mainstream, what is it going to be? Is it going to be DeFi? Of course not. DeFi was created for people who are already in crypto. It's not really bringing people from outside. They're saying, oh man, I want to get on that yams too, because man, I heard about all the crazy gains you could get. It's really just it may be bringing a couple people here and there, but it's not approaching an audience outside of crypto and saying, hey, here's how you were doing something before, and now crypto makes it 20% better. So I think gaming has the potential to do that, and it's a multi-million-dollar industry. I mean, I think they projected, the next year or later this year, it's supposed to be over $160 billion globally for gaming, and 100 billion of that is skins, digital skins. So you think about if just a fraction of that starts to come into the NFT market, where these skins are now tokenized and they're NFTs and they're being used in games like that. I mean, it's a game changer. So that's really why I'm so bullish on that. That's why I put most of my time and content focusing on NFTs and blockchain gaming, because I do think that that's going to be the vehicle that really takes what we're doing here to the masses. Like I reiterate this, but people who play video games are already very familiar with digital items and value of digital assets. A lot of people who aren't video game players, they don't understand, like, how could this gun that you use in Fortnite, why would that be worth $100,000? That's ridiculous. That's stupid. And then you could say the same thing about people who don't collect baseball cards. They say, well, I don't understand how this little piece of paper with a picture of an old dude's face on it, named Babe Ruth, could even be worth. Why is it worth money? Like, who cares? And so I think that there's always that crowd that doesn't understand those things. But gaming has exploded over the last 20 years. Whereas it used to just be kind of a nerdy thing. I've been a gamer since I was a kid, and it was never the most popular thing. I can guarantee you that. And so now it is. Now it's they're filling stadiums with 100,000 people watching people play video games, whereas this used to be football and basketball and baseball, and now you're seeing maybe less attendance there. And the younger generation wants to watch video gamers and not necessarily watch people playing sports.
Yeah, they can do it. They can do that right from their home. You were mentioning the baseball cards, and I did an interview with Topps, so it's pretty interesting. I saw somewhere on Twitter where they're actually really pushing forward for those baseball cards. And what's really interesting with these baseball cards, the NFTs, is that instead of having this physical card that the stats just stay there and they're stagnant, with the digital cards, they actually update the stats. So that's pretty interesting to me as someone who would collect cards.
I mean, that having a digital item, there's so much more you could do with it than a physical item, right? I mean, obviously the physical item, it's produced, it's out there, you can't really change it after that. But with the digital item, there's so much more you can do with it, and you can continue to do with it as well. So, it could be used in multiple applications in different ways. People can piggyback off of it and then use it in their application, upgrade it, combine it. There's so many different applications that NFTs unlock for collectibles. Like I said, we're just kind of scratching the surface on these things, and I love being on the cutting edge of it. Sometimes it's stressful and frustrating, I'm not gonna lie, and then other times I'm just like, I love this. Most of the time I love this, but a lot of times also stressful and frustrating.
I gotta tell you, it's crazy to me that I'm sitting here and I'm talking about NFTs, and I'm talking about smart contracts, and I'm talking about Celsius, and it's amazing to me that I'm talking about all these things, because as a newbie, like, I'm understanding it. So I can imagine someone coming in and they don't understand any of it. They would be like, whoosh, their brain would explode. So as you're learning, and it makes me think back about when the internet first came out, or cell phones, or people didn't understand it, right? Because it was a bunch of coding and all these different things in the .coms, but then that got better. And I think blockchain, because you have a bunch of numbers and a bunch of ways to get to different the place where you want to get, where you want to sell something or whatever. But I think as we grow, it'll start getting easier for you to understand, right?
Yeah, I mean, easier in the way that it's obfuscated. So not necessarily for, most people don't like, they don't know, most people don't know how their toaster works or how their microwave works or how the VCR works or their DVR or how a TV works or how their car works. Most people
Mm.
use things and don't give a shit about how it actually works. They just
They just
want to
want
be
to
able
press
to
a
work.
button that says on. That's it.
Right. And crypto is at a point right now where you still really do have to kind of understand how it works. Some of the stuff in the background, it's getting better. I mean, even just from, from when I first got in, and even just from like 2017 on, when we've had kind of more of an explosion of people coming in, it's gotten better for sure. It was, I mean, in 2013, 2014, it was way harder than it was in 2016 and 2017. And now, there's a lot more front-facing, consumer-facing products that make it easy. So, that's really what it's going to come down to is that, when blockchain is being used in the background and you don't even know, because you don't need to know, really. You just need to know it works better, it's more secure, it gives you better features. That's when I think that, it'll be something that people will be more and more comfortable using. And that was the same thing that happened with the internet. It was bulky, it was hard to use, people didn't really understand. Then AOL came along, and it was like, oh, wow, this is actually pretty easy. I can do this. You just go boop, boop, and you're like, hello, and you're online. But it was hard to do before that. And that was one of the mainstream drivers for people getting online. And, I think that we're just barely getting there here with crypto.
Yeah. And an example of that is like, wallets and transferring, from one wallet to another. Now they've made it so much easier, on the transfer, because you had to remember this long number to transfer from one to the other. And now it's gotten easier, and I think it's going to get even easier than it is already. So before it was so complicated because you had to buy over here and sit it over there and then transfer over there and then move it from this place to that place because this one didn't understand the other. So it just seems less complicated to me. I was like, I just can't do it. My mind is exploding. I would tell my husband, you do that. I can't do that. So it seems easier now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that that we're actually with the technology that we're just growing more. So here we grow. So
Yeah, crypto is growing quickly. I mean, this is the industry that's just a little bit over 10 years old, and the strides that we've come, how far we've come in that time is really truly amazing. It took the internet a good 20 years to really get to a point where, okay, yeah, this is usable by most people.
So I always like asking people that I talk to. If you had to ask yourself a question, I want you to ask yourself a question. What would that be?
What is the meaning of life?
42.
Answer 42.
The answer is 42. So let me just talk about what I have on right now. So I want you to see my shirt. See my shirt?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Tiger print skull.
Yeah, so Stash and I had a conversation about Gasparilla. I live in Tampa, Florida, and we have this parade. It's called the Gasparilla Parade, and obviously we can't have it because of COVID and everything that's going on this year, and it's usually around February. So he said he loves Gasparilla, and he's a pirate at heart. So I have this right here, Surrender the Booty, and I have all my skulls and everything. So I wore this in honor of you. So you can feel like you're having a Gasparilla going on for you. So I really would love for you, when we do open up, I would love for you to come here and, hang out with me, and we'll do the whole Gasparilla thing together. I'll have you throw some beads, and, we can both wear our piratey outfits.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to the Gasparilla. I've never been, and like I said, I truly am a pirate at heart. So, if International Talk Like a Pirate Day just passed September 19th every year, and so for like 7 or 8 years straight, I threw a pirate party on that day. And so we dress up like pirates. I do pirate games. We had pirate bands playing. My band used to play. We'd be dressed up in costume, and it was a lot of fun. So I've done piratey things for a very long time. There's a couple festivals out here. I'd always go to those too. There's actually a pirate crew out here that I'm unofficially a part of. And they have like ships, and they're like legit, and they go around to events, and they're kind of like the some of the top dogs around here on the West Coast. And this year, actually, you know, for Halloween, we're doing pirate themes. So I do custom decorations for my house every year. So we build them out. We don't, you know, and we buy some stuff to complement, but I
Gotta
build a bunch of
post it.
stuff, and
Make sure
yeah.
you
And so we're
post it.
doing
We
all
wanna-
pirate stuff this year. So all pirate themes. So
Yeah,
very
man.
piratey this year.
I'd love to see that. So it's Gasparilla here is a lot of fun. There's thousands and thousands of people. It's like a mini Mardi Gras. Although it's turning into like as big as Mardi Gras, I think. But it's a lot of fun. So I'd love to have you here so you can enjoy it. Bama really enjoys it as well. So anyway, so tell us how we can find you. I'm going to have all of the links to your websites, your tokens, everything that you have. Tell us how we can find you.
Yeah, so you can go to CryptoStache.com, STACHE, like mustache, and that's kind of my home base for everything. So, you know, written articles too, which I do. So, you know, not as much as I used to, but I have a bunch of really great articles on there that, you know, cover all my favorite things, resources for beginners. I've written probably 200 articles since 2017
Wow.
that focus on beginner type stuff and videos that go with them. So I have a bunch of resources. So it's a great resource, and it's all free. So you can just go to the website, and you know, it's a place I send friends or people who are looking to kind of, you know, a quick place to get a little bit more about crypto in a pretty easy to understand manner. But all my links to my stuff is there. So like I said, I'm on YouTube, Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Theta, I'm on Uptrend, I'm on Hive, I'm on Peepeth, and minds.com and library.
Oh my golly,
and probably pretty much every platform you are on, I'm at CryptoStache there.
Oh my God, I love that. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, now I'm gonna have to find all that stuff and follow you and do whatever you're supposed to do. But I'm gonna have to find you on all those platforms. Pretty interesting. I wonder if blockchain will come up with a Twitter like.
They already have. I mean, Peepeth that I mentioned, it's basically like a Twitter. It's like a blockchain-based Twitter. It's a pretty small community, but there's actually other ones too. So you look at, you know, Uptrend is you know, it has kind of Twitter elements to it, and there's a couple other ones too that are kind of similar to Twitter. But yeah,
we need to do a Facebook one on the blockchain. That would be
like I said, there's a lot of social crypto-based platforms out there, and none of them have like really blown up gigantic, but there's lots of great communities. So
Yep, there are. So come here, Bama. Come here. So here's Bama, and he's gonna Bama, come here, buddy. He always says bye. Come here, sit. So here's Bama, and he wants to tell you thank you so much for talking to us. We really appreciate it. You always reply whenever I asked a question on the chat. So I appreciate everything that you've done for me. You were amazing, and I appreciate you coming on the show and talking to me today, and so does Bama. We really appreciate it, and I'm really serious. I really want you to come to Gasparilla whenever we open it up. I don't think it's going to be this year. Make sure that you root for the Lightning too, because we're playing tonight. I'm serious. You've got to root for the Lightning. So, but anyway, I really appreciate it. And if there's anything that I can do to help you out in any way, please let me know. I'm going to make sure to put all of your links in the description of this video. So thank you very much. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
All right. So as always, really appreciate everyone subscribing to my channel and keep those comments and suggestions coming. Thank you so much to CryptoStache for being on this video. And as always, you heard it here on the Blockchain Herd.